Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and I'm back with a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Gilgamesh Reincarnation Part 7 guys. Remember to get this one too, 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Chaos Magic. So go ahead, check that out, and yeah guys, enjoy. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 more channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family, and thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode. Let us begin now guys. So the last part we left off, we started out with Yujito, as she was shocked. In Naruto's final moments when she was still conscious, she heard the words that came from his mouth, and they were truly shocking to hear, because he said that he loved her. She was beyond shocked, beyond surprised to hear what he had to say, as she could not believe it, as he now understood what the Sannin meant about that emotion love that he's never truly felt before. However, the battle with Yujito had made him feel such emotion he believed it could be love. However, she ended up passing out. On his way to visit Yujito, the Raikage came across said boy, as Naruto was rather demanding that they put their squabble aside, because he found himself interested in one of his shinobis. The Raikage was surprised that this child had the gall to step towards him like that. He even decided to test his willpower by descending his hand on Naruto's shoulder, trying to pressure him down, but Naruto was not one and never one to back down. But he came to the man with a neutral respect, and the Raikage was making it seem like just because he was younger and not a Kage, as Naruto made sure to tell him that he didn't give a damn about the position. However, it was interrupted, yes, as the Raikage made his way. Yujito almost fainted when C and Darui told her what happened. Yes, she almost fainted. When the battle for Gaara and Sasuke began, the invasion began soon after when Gaara was wounded, as he started to flee away, Sasuke going after him. As for Naruto, he just stood there. Yujito wanted to talk to him, but now did not seem to be the right time. Someone tried to sneak up on her, but she took them down as another came. However, a hammer crushed his skull, as it was from Naruto. She knew his goal in portals. As Naruto stood there, watching all of the chaos, he seemed to be preparing something rather large. As he made his way to the forest, the massive One Tails emerged, as the beasts started to rain down destruction. As for Yujito, the Raikage was captured in a dome, so she was gonna cut right through it. However, something was wrong. She burnt herself out in the earlier battle. She remembered the words that came from Naruto about her just reaching the pinnacle of her power, and she was nowhere close to perfecting it. She pushed herself and burnt herself out so she could not cut through the barrier. As Naruto faced off against the One Tails, the beast stood absolutely no chance as Naruto ripped him apart, piece by piece, like he was absolutely nothing. He then started to drag Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara back to the village, until he came across Baki, as he tossed him down and told him to get out of there with them. This was a sign of power that he was even willing to give back their strongest, because He did not fear them, and he was rather disrespectful in the way that he did it though. That is when Naruto opened up the largest gate that he ever opened before. Thousands of weapons as Naruto wiped away every sound ninja down to the last man. He wiped them away just like that, ending each and every one of their life. He made sure to warn the Sand Ninjas to get the hell out of his village, and they ran away. Naruto then descended upon the massive dome. The Anvus tried to warn him, but he cut right through it with a flaming sword as Naruto stepped inside. However, he was too late, as Hiruzen was taking his final breath, ripping the soul from the first and the second, and trying but failing with the Sannin. Orochimaru fled, as Naruto did not pay him too much mind. As Hiruzen said his final words, he told Naruto to take care of the village. Yujito and her company were, unfortunately, gone by then. She wanted to say something to him, but she never got the opportunity, and that made her sad. However, as the funeral happened, Jiraiya saw Naruto as he was just standing in mid-air looking down upon them. That is when he went berserk, as Jiraiya figured that something might happen, but not to this degree. The Land of Sound was a massive underground system where many people were. Orochimaru originally built the place for people that were enemies of their own villages and were on the run. But the place was still large. Naruto's minor mind manipulation was stronger than he thought, because he tended not to use some of his abilities because he didn't believe anyone was worth it. However, he got the information from Kabuto, who was even aware that he was a spy in his own ranks. When Naruto arrived, he made sure to put up a barrier, something else that he was capable of doing. As he placed up that barrier, the Sound Daimyo was a man that he owned this section of the land, and he was forced to do Orochimaru's bidding, as they were people that were not involved in his revenge. Naruto opened up another massive gate, and this time, he reduced the entire place to dust. Not only that, he split the earth open, causing pure chaos and destruction. He wiped the village off the map, similar to what he threatened to do to the Grass Ninjas and their leader Toji if they came after Karin. However, Toji already put a large hit on Naruto's head, and now witnessing this power, Naruto has just changed the entire balance of the entire world. Yes, the power balance had just taken a massive shift, and it was all because of him. For the next few days he was MIA, as Karin was worried about him, as news has reached the Land of Wave, one of the most protective places, given that Naruto was basically the leader here, and he was making enemies out there a lot. However, she was worried about him. For him to go this far, he must truly be angry. Yes. As Naruto arrived to Konoha though, right in a scheduled council meeting, as he stepped inside, he knew that they wanted to talk, and it's time that he did talk to them. People across the village had heard about what happened, and many of them actually agreed with him, believing that they were hit by the enemy. So Konoha decided to hit back. Some were even saying that he should be the next Hokage. Even his young age did not bother them, because he was doing everything to defend this village and protect it. So yeah guys, basically that's where left off. You guys can switch across and play check it out for yourself. So to begin this new episode guys. The room was briefly quiet as Naruto stood there. Everyone had their eyes on him. His gaze was looking at everyone in the room, given his previous actions, and he's been missing ever since. Yes, we do need to talk, Naruto said. I know there's a lot of questions and a lot of problems that all of you wish to raise as we speak. So go ahead. I'm willing to answer your questions, he said. Koharu was the first one that spoke. Who gave you the authority to make a move without discussing anything with the village or with us, the council? No one gave me the authority. I took it, said Naruto. You are a simple genin. You have no manner or no responsibility to do something that does not involves you. What you gone and did doesn't involve me. Naruto said, cutting her off. Last time I checked, I'm also a Konoha ninja. And the last time I checked, I am the one that wiped away all those smug, arrogant garbage who believed they could step into this village and take us on. Us. The village hidden within the leaf, the mightiest nation out of all. And if the Sand wasn't tricked into this, if they weren't manipulated by that snake, I would have been there as well, to make them pay for their actions against us. So you're saying that you would have stepped against the Hidden Sand on your own, if they weren't tricked into this by Orochimaru? Shikaku repeated as he looked at Naruto. Exactly, said Naruto. You would have gone up against an entire, great nation. Their strongest power they possess is the One Tails. And if you've lot have forgotten or something, I have the Nine-Tailed Beast sealed inside of me. However, I have never, nor will I ever rely on the Beast's power to solve my problems. I chose to give them back the One Tails. You what? Koharu said. Isn't it obvious, said Naruto. If we want to build a healthy relationship with them, after what they've done, we had to show a positive give back. Tell me something, Shikaku said. Why would you do that, even after they went against us? Given your judgment on the Land of Sound, it seems to be quite the opposite. Yes, my motives might seem unclear, but given that you speak from the Nara clan, you ought to know what I have in mind, said Naruto. There will be sanctions. There will be ways for them to show, to repent, that they will never allow such foolish thoughts to ever enter their mind. Me giving them back the One Tail was just a sign to show them that it doesn't matter what they have. It doesn't matter the power that they gain. I can still wipe them off the map because their greatest weapon doesn't mean shit. 4 years upon years upon years now, since the beginning, Konoha has never been the aggressors. Konoha has always been the one to fight back when things became too much. However, over the years, the village has lost a great portion of its power. The Uchiha clan, the many that fell during the Nine-Tails attack, and so on. As you can see, many nations believe that we have gotten soft, that we have gotten weak. It would be an insult to our very name if that slimy, slippery snake bastard was to get away unscathed after posing a direct war on us. So I decided to hit them back, because when they hit we should not just stand down and look weak. We should hit them back harder. And that is exactly what I did by wiping that goddamn underground pieces of garbage off the map. And now you can see, the nation once again realized that our power has not diminished, not even in the slightest. Even now the balance is shifting back to us. We've become docile over the couple of years that has passed, and our docileness had made them believe that we are weak. Time and time again, we have let go certain issues. The attack on the Hyuga by the Raikage. Time and time again, they call our name with weakness. If I didn't do what I did, it would only be a matter of time before they're lined up at our borders, ready to wipe us out because they believe that we're pathetic. So you can go ahead and rebuke my actions. You can say whatever you like. However, I do not regret my choices, and I did what I did for the betterment of this village. And if you will open your eyes, you will see that as well, because I will not stand to watch as the future crumble because they believe us to be soft. It's time that Konoha show the rest of the world that we're not someone to be strike and simply turn the other cheek. Retaliation was done. Naruto said as he was done talking. The only reason why he was here, looking like he was justifying himself, was because he knew certain actions and certain questions would be rising. However, most of their opinion did not mean much to him. He's 100% correct. All eyes turned towards Danzo Shimura. Jiraiya did not like that, with these two being on the same page. Naruto arrogant, and rather destructive manner with Danzo's mind, someone as corrupted and wicked as him. He did not like that in the slightest. After the attack, after the death of Hiruzen, there was many talks, many whispers about our strength being dematerialized, despite the fact that we were able to push back the forces that tried to wipe us out. However, after his recent attack and retaliation, all of those whispers have gone quiet, with everyone around the Elemental Nation realizing that we will not just stand by and allow ourselves to be hit and not retaliate. So I stand by his side in this one. His actions were 100% justified. As a ninja of the Hidden Leaf, his timing might have been off without even paying us a courtesy of a visit first. But the village was in disarray. Our Hokage is gone. And everything seemed to be in shambles at the moment despite our council members. Here all of us trying to keep it at bay. We need a new Hokage. You can't be suggesting this child actually becomes a Hokage. Koharu said, "Don't worry your head. I do not wish to obtain the title as of yet. There is still a lot I have to do. And being behind a desk is not something that is efficient for me right now." "Wait, not yet?" she said to him. Naruto turned and properly faced her. "You annoy me, woman," he said. "It's like you're not hearing the words that are properly coming out of my mouth. Each sentence I speak, you question it like you cannot understand it. If there's a barrier between our language, hold your tongue and stop talking. I do not like to be annoyed for a long period of time," he said, turning away from her despite whatever she was saying. "I know the right person to be the next Hokage, and that is Tsunade Senju, the only proper person to be the Hokage, with her last name, bringing her back to the village, as she take the title to represent her grandfather and her granduncle. I presume this is what you told them when they asked you about it?" Jiraiya blinked as Naruto was looking at him. "How did you—" "It was rather obvious," said Naruto. "Now, shall we go?" "You want to come?" said Jiraiya. "Of course. Given your past, I doubt you will be able to properly convince her. But I, on the other hand, you know what? I don't think that is such a good idea." "It is a perfect idea," said Naruto. "Now let us go. In the next 15 minutes, there is something I must do." He proceeded to teleport away. Koharu was rather pissed off. While Naruto was talking, she tried to say something in it, but he basically ignored her the entire time. She was telling them that they couldn't allow him to continuously getting away with this, as she started to beg the question that he possessed strength that is greater than most if he were to turn against them. However, Jiraiya can assure her that that wasn't something that he would ever do. She wanted to know how he knew that. What makes him so sure? However, the Sannin said he just knew. Time skip. "Where did you go?" said Jiraiya. "Land of Waves," said Naruto. "I had to pay Karen a visit." "She doing good?" Jiraiya asked. Naruto nodded. "Why is she not in the village again?" "She's made friends with the people at Land of Wave. A lot of them. And she's come to enjoy her time over there. She's a part of my clan and my representative, so I don't see a problem with it," said Naruto. As the both of them were making their way, "Do you remember our conversation about what love was?" Naruto asked. Jiraiya blinked. "I'm surprised you would bring that out of the blue." "Yeah, what about it?" "I think I fell in love with a girl from Kumo," said Naruto. Jiraiya had to pause as Naruto kept on walking with a straight face, as he had to quickly catch up with Naruto. "Wait, hold on. I thought you liked Karen," he said. "Of course I like Karen," said Naruto. "Given how strongly you fought for her, I thought that you two might end up together. Besides, you two are Uzumakis." "And that will happen," said Naruto. "Wait, what?" said Jiraiya. "Karen will become one of my wives." As Jiraiya looked at him, Our DNA and our blood is compatible, by far more than any. We will bring splendid children into the world, and I do care a great deal about Karen. However, these emotions that you told me about and what they felt like, I believe that I caught them for the Kumo girl. Her name is Yujito. She's the only one to ever stir these emotions inside of me. The fight was truly excellent, and she hasn't reached anywhere near her peak. I cannot wait. Hold on. Are you sure you're not mistaking love for... I can't believe I'm gonna say this. Fighting arousal. You mean my emotional feelings might be. My love for a good battle, said Naruto. A good one that I haven't had. Yeah, perhaps. Well, now I'm confused, said Naruto. Perhaps I'll just have to fight her again and see. I'll be seeing her soon, so it shouldn't be a problem. Wait, what do you mean by that? Once we find the Hokage, I'll be heading to Kumo. Jiraiya stopped in front of Naruto. What do you mean you'll be heading to Kumo? I've already spoken to the Raikage, but not in these terms. I told him that the war between Konoha, well, the grudges, and his village will come to a stop, because I was intending on having feelings for one of his subordinates. If something was to happen between us two, the war will have to come to an end. Well, not a physical one, but one that has spanned over many years now, on an unspoken ground. Listen to me and listen to me good. You're not going to Kumo. The Raikage is a very stubborn individual, who doesn't take lightly to be told what to do by others. And you're even worse. I have no doubt in my mind that the both of you are going to fight each other, which is going to lead to something horrible. Oh yes, there is no question about that. We will come to blows. But the both of us has one thing that I see resembling the both of us. We don't like cowards or weaklings that give up easily. So I intend to show him that I am the same, and despite his title, his power is not greater than mine. Look, Naruto, this is very serious. Kumo is not the sound. The retaliation of that village against Konoha, there would not be any retaliation. So far my words and actions have brought us nothing but good. Good? Are you really saying that, said Jiraiya? The amount of shit that we have to go through before your good does happen is kind of outweighing the good and bad. So promise me now that you will not go there and do anything stupid. Maybe we can schedule something for you to at least pay the village a visit, but I don't want you going there by yourself. Promise me now, he said. Fine. I promise I shall hear you out before making any moves. Jiraiya released a breath. As while Naruto was rather arrogant, he didn't break promises that easily. However, Jiraiya was not fully understanding what Naruto had said. He said he promised he would hear him out before making any moves. He didn't say how long he would give him. Time skip. As they arrived towards a town, there was a woman that was flirting with a Sannin. As Naruto spoke, something is wrong with that woman. However, Jiraiya did not take his words into consideration, as he quickly threw the key to Naruto for the room and headed off. Naruto could tell that the woman was under some sort of trance. However, he was not worried. If there was any threat, the Sannin should be able to properly handle himself. And besides, if someone was trying to get him out of the way to come after him personally, well, he will show them that their actions were rather idiotic and stupid by wiping them away and their comrades. Making his way towards the room, as Naruto purposely waited on the threat to reveal itself, finally there was a knock on his door, as he could feel the two powers right outside of his door. Without fear or hesitation, Naruto simply opened the door and stood there as he stared into the Sharingan eyes. He did not look away, nor did he blink. The man was taller than him. Naruto stepped out of the room, still looking directly in Itachi's eyes. I must say, of all people to come across, I never expected to see you, Itachi Uchiha, the one who slaughtered his entire clan. For your actions against the Hidden Leaf, I shall end your life right here and now, said Naruto. And your partner as well. So this is the brat, huh? Kisame said. It seems the information on him was right. He is one cocky little shit, isn't he? Believing that he can quickly end our life that easily. Kisame said with a grin. Yes, I believe I can kill you. Although, the reason why you're here in front of my door, 2 S-rank ninjas, might pose to be a future threat. But I do not really care. If any one of your people or whoever you're with come after me, they will receive the same treatment, said Naruto. Now die like the animals that you are. Both men jumped away rather quickly. As they saw the gates open up, they heard details. They were given info on him. You fools, Naruto said. Do you think it's that predictable? The gates were now behind him and fire. Samehata immediately swung as Kisame swinged it towards the weapon. However, the violent collision threw the man across the hall as he smashed into the wall. Itachi had burst into a flock of crows. Your illusion cannot go beyond my eyes, said Naruto. As he turned, 3 blades head straight towards Itachi's head. He quickly swapped with a nearby plant, as the plant was reduced to pieces. That is when Naruto heard something behind him, as he looked to see that it was Sasuke. And what are... Never mind, said Naruto, remembering the collision between the two because of the past. I believe that you desire to end his life, Naruto said. Stay out of this, Sasuke shouted. He's mine. While I would reprimand you for lowering your tone, given the one that murdered your entire clan is standing here, I believe that it's only justified for you to take a swing at him. So go ahead. This is your opportunity. Try not to waste it. As for you, Shark Man, Naruto held his hand out, and several gates opened up. Kisame's eyes widened. Boom! Everyone on the street scattered as Kisame was thrown. He crashed hard outside, barely getting away by the skin of his teeth. As the Akatsuki cloak was ripped open at the chest area, blood was leaking down his chest, but the wound was being quickly healed as he was holding on to Samehata. Damn, that brat is fast, he said. I'm more than just fast. Kisame spun and swung. However, Naruto blocked it with a golden blade in his hand. There is nothing that this blade cannot cut, said Naruto as he pulled it upwards, tearing through Samehata's scales. Kisame had to immediately move back so Samehata would not get split in half. As Naruto slammed the blade in the ground, he landed on top of it as he stood there. Why don't you simply stay still and die? Your efforts are meaningless. If this is all the power that you can muster, then you are nothing. Naruto held his hand out as around 20 gates appear. Kisame blurred through hand sign before he puked up a ton of water, as Naruto purposely allowed him to do so. Naruto watches the water fill the entire street. Seems you possess a rather abnormal amount of chakra than your average S-class even. Kisame leaped out of the water in front of Naruto, swinging Samehata. However, a chain grabbed Samehata in the exact moment he swung and yanked it backwards. Kisame cried out as a blade ripped into his arm, tearing into his flesh. Another one tearing into his side. Kisame used brute force as he ripped his arm out of the chain. He spun and slammed his hand on the water as it exploded upwards, blowing away everything. Kisame pulled the blades out as his body started to heal. Now furious as he stopped holding back that much of his power, the entire village started to feel the pressure of his chakra descended upon them. I must say, This is my first time facing an S-rank ninja, and I have to say, you have brought me some excitement. So I've decided to use you to test that theory. Naruto held his hand up as a blade with a golden hilt, as the blade itself was silver. Naruto twirled it in his hand. This blade was Grim, the blade of the sun, as Naruto pointed it towards the ground. Before he placed it on top of the water, an unbelievable heat. It went through the entire surface. Immediately, smoke started to evaporate out. Kisame was shocked as all the water was evaporating at a speed similar to what the sun would do. However, not even the sun would produce this quickly, given the proximity of the earth and the sun. Well, that was, well understanded, but how could a blade produce this heat? As Naruto was back on dry land. Now it is time, he said. Kisame turned as Naruto was behind him, his blade raised. When the two blades collided, a force shattered several windows. Both of them flipped in mid-air as they came to a stop. They dashed towards each other and clashed their weapons, sending shockwaves as they move. As Naruto was not holding back with his strength, and Kisame was using a considerable amount of force as he found himself having to push a great force to his arms. While his chakra was great, it was just Naruto's physical strength that he was using to shock Kisame like that. As their blades clashed once again, Naruto heard a scream as he realized the battle between them was going to rip this entire town apart. It seems he was wrong. Because I feel nothing for you, said Naruto. As he held his blade up, our fight is good, but you lack the same focus that she possesses. So yes, it seems I do love her, he said. Kisame wondered what the hell he was talking about. However, Kisame did not care about that, as he started to fluctuate with so much power. If our fight continue, we will reduce this town to ash, said Naruto. That doesn't matter, Kisame said. We are going to continue, because I want nothing more than to cut you down, you damn brat, he said, as he found himself getting pumped. It's been a long time since he found such an opponent that got his blood boiling, and the smile on his face was a sign that he was actually really enjoying this. The rush, the feeling, and the fear of death as he gripped Samehata's handle. Samehata was fully out of the bandage, its mouth open, its tongue exposed, its other scales jetting out. As Naruto lifted his arm as a golden aura started to dance around his blade and then around his body. Fine then, I shall reduce you to nothing but ash, Naruto said as he held the blade into the sky. However, there was an explosion as he turned. Naruto held his blade up and blocked every single shuriken thrown towards his face. As Itachi landed in front of Kisame, the both of them went up in a giant fiery blast, a quick escape method. As Naruto stood there, his blade vanishing away, when Jiraiya came jumping out of the side of the building, holding on to an unconscious Sasuke on one shoulder and an unconscious girl on the other. I told you something was wrong with her. Wait, you're telling me that you knew that she was under a genjutsu? I did say it. Not in a convincing way that I would understand. You know how I am. It's not my fault that you're a damn pervert, said Naruto, as the two started to argue. Time skip. Jiraiya told Naruto about the information that he got about the organization known as the Akatsuki. Turns out they were hunting tail beasts from the information that he received. Given the fact that he was a holder of the most powerful, they would come for him. However, Naruto simply scoffed it off, believing it not to be a threat. Something was on his mind though, Jiraiya could tell. Is this about the girl again, he asked. No. Something has been bothering me. And what's that? Naruto looked out. I feel there is something coming for me. What? Jiraiya said. And whatever this thing is, it's not fully human. Perhaps it's not even human at all. What? The Sannin said, confused. In my fight with Yujito, our collision stirred a sensation through the entire earth. And I felt something in that brief moment. We connected for a split second. I'm not sure if she felt it as well, but the next second it was gone. Earlier, I felt it again. Before your arrival, the moment I was going to reduce that sharp man to ashes. Whatever this thing is, it's sensing my power. I'm not sure what it is, or where it is, but it's strong. Are you afraid? What? Of course not, said Naruto. Why would you ask that? Well, if you were, I would know that this thing, whatever it was, is the greatest threat that we have to face. Because you are the most arrogant person I ever met. So if you're afraid, then it's bad. But if you're not, is it something you can handle, Jiraiya said. Of course. I'm just curious to find out what exactly it is. Because it's not human, but it's also like me. So you're saying, I've told you this already, said Naruto. While I can't remember everything, I am part God. Keep that in mind. As the both of them made their way, Naruto was correct. Something was coming after him, and him and Yujito were the one to first awaken it. As Naruto's arrogance was getting extremely bad for certain situations, because he had no idea what this thing was, and yet, he wouldn't even give it a second thought, like it was nothing in the face of him. However, whatever this thing was, he was right. It was like him. Whatever location or space and time that him and Yujito originated from, reincarnation, time fluctuation, this thing was from there as well. And this thing was not like them. It was not a half human or half god or half that. It was a monster, created for one purpose. And it was coming. Time skip. Guy had taken Sasuke back to the village. Itachi had really done a number on him. After another long day of searching, they finally came across Tsunade in a bar. The moment she saw Jiraiya, she scowled. What the hell are you doing here, she said. What? Can't a person pay their old friend a visit, he said. He knew that she didn't like the word old, as her eye twitched slightly. However, he simply joked it off with a smile. Jiraiya sat down, but Naruto did not. Look at yourself, reduced to a pitiful form of your once powerful might. I must say, this is truly pathetic. Naruto said, looking at Tsunade. Shizune's eyes absolutely widened, hearing what he just said. Tsunade cocked her eyebrow towards him. Your services is needed back at the Hidden Leaf. Get up and get yourself cleaned up. You're coming back to the village as the Hokage. Jiraiya wiped a hand down his face. He had a feeling that something like this might happen. But not this crazy, he thought. He had spoken to Naruto about Tsunade's personality and attitude, and not to piss her off, but the kid did the exact opposite of what they spoke about. Jiraiya released a heavy breath. Tsunade looked towards Naruto. She looked behind her. Wonder if she was going crazy. Are you talking to me, she said. Who else would I be talking to? Oh no, it's just rather hilarious a brat. Feels that he has the right to speak to me like that and tell me what to do. Return to the village and be the Hokage. I hope you're strong, she said. The moment she said that, her fist lashed out, with the intention of causing some serious damage. Immediately, chains shot from one of Naruto's portal and wrapped around her hand. However, The chains immediately exploded off her as she shoot her fist outwards, as Naruto looked rather impressed. At that moment, he was launched across the bar before flying through the door and crashing hard outside. Shizune's eyes widened. Lady Tsunade. She was worried that she just killed a child. A rather arrogant child, but still a child nonetheless. Don't worry, he's just fine, Jiraiya said, looking more annoyed than worried. That his accomplice just got sailed right through the bar. As for Naruto, as he was resting against the wall outside, he seemed to be not displeased by her reaction. Well, it seems that she still has some fight in her. Upon saying that, the woman walked outside, ready to rip him apart for his actions and words earlier. Naruto pulled himself out of the wall, as there wasn't even a scratch on him. I must say, to be able to break my chains like that, your physical strength is just as great as they say. However, I am not impressed. Your actions still make me look at you as a pathetic individual. You will have to prove it in my eyes that you're worthy for the task ahead. Listen here, brat. I'm not coming back to be any damn Hokage, so get that through your thick skull. And I say that you don't have a choice in the matter. So you're telling me that I have to do what you say to come back and be the Hokage, she said. It is not a request, said Naruto. Your opinion don't really matter in this regard. You will serve your village, or else. Or else what, Tsunade said. You won't like the answer. Now, pack your stuff. Your redemption is not finished just yet. I'm sick of your crap. Tsunade ran forward. You can take a punch, so I don't have to hold back. She swung at him, but Naruto ducked and stepped to the side. Sloppy. She swung once again, but he ducked. What the hell? She thought to herself. However, she twisted her heel in the ground and lashed out, only for a strange golden plate to appear in front of him and zap her leg, throwing it back as she skidded and lashed out with her other leg. However, it was zapped as well. Tsunade cursed as she took a step back, as there was now 2 golden plates revolving around him. Let's see how much you keep up with this. Naruto opened up 15 gates. Tsunade's eyes widened as she had to move. The whole place was being ripped and torn apart as the weapons collided with the earth. Tsunade jumped away from the barrage. She had several cuts on her arms, as the blades were moving so fast they nicked her skin. However, she started to heal herself, as Naruto was simply walking towards her. That's enough, you two, said Jiraiya, rushing in the center, Shizune by his side. I know if I let you two like this, you just end up killing one another, because the both of you are too damn arrogant to listen. You rather threw punches or blades first. He's right, Tsunade. I am sure that you know about what is going on in Konoha, and that you heard about what this kid did to the Land of Sound. So that's him, Shizune said, looking towards Naruto. Yes, they were aware. It was a talk of the Elemental Nation. Everyone was talking about that event. As Tsunade glared over towards Naruto, I don't give a damn who this brat is. I'm not returning back to the village. I told you that your words have no opinion in this, said Naruto. However, if I do drag you there kicking and screaming, I suppose that it would not solve anything, because you will simply be a brat and whine about it. So how about we make a deal? I heard that you're a betting woman. Jiraiya had told Naruto about that. And why the hell would I make a deal with you? Why the hell shouldn't I just ignore you and go about my business? Simple. If you do, I'll follow you everywhere you go. And one more thing, I can fly. So you can't get away from me, said Naruto. And I'll just keep on attacking you. I'll make sure that you don't gamble, that you don't drink, that every single moment of your life is hell, until you accept my deal. Tsunade wanted to knock his head off his shoulders. However, his words, she realized the truth in them. "If I win this deal of yours, would you leave me the hell alone?" she said. "I'll do more than that. I'll make sure the village choose another Hokage, and you will never be bothered. You will be allowed to waste your miserable life," he said to her. She was rather pissed off about the last part, but she agreed to have a competition, whatever deal he wants, for him to leave her the hell alone. "I'll come after your pride." "A strength contest," said Naruto. "If I can best you in an arm wrestling contest, you come back with us and be the Hokage." "Seriously?" she said. "Yes, seriously." Tsunade started to chuckle. "Fine, I accept your deal." "Not now," he said. "Let's do it in 1 week." She narrowed her eyes. "Why? Don't want to lose right away?" "No, I'm just making sure that you don't win." "And what the hell do you mean by that?" "Oh, you don't have to worry. I promise I won't sabotage you in any way possible. However, you will lose." "Well, I'll see you in 1 week. And try not to do something foolish as running away. You can't escape me," he said. With that, he started to walk away. "Hey brat, wait up," said Jiraiya. "What the hell are you thinking? You're strong, but in a physical contest of strength, there is no way in hell that you're gonna beat her. And why the hell make a promise like that with her? You know that she's gonna take it that everyone in Konoha feel the same, despite knowing that they don't. And she's not gonna come back. And it's gonna be a whole nother problem to get her back." "Well, that just means I'll have to win," said Naruto. "Did you hear nothing I just said?" Jiraiya asks. "You can't win a strength contest against her." "And you don't know what I can do," said Naruto. "But don't worry, because I shall win," said Naruto. As he made his way off, leaving Jiraiya feeling like he wanted to rip his hair out of his own skull. Time skip. Jiraiya tried to reason with Tsunade. However, she wouldn't stand for it. However, he did notice that she was rather fixated on what the brat could have had planned. Why the hell would he pick an arm wrestling contest? This is not the first time that she's come across something like this before. In fact, the Raikage did so to get her help in the past, and he cheated. As she remembered what he did, he used his speed against her. Tsunade found herself obsessing about what this brat would have to do. There is no way in hell that he was faster than her. He might have a flash a few tricks, which were indeed a bit more powerful than she thought, as she had heard the rumors, but in terms of physical strength, no way. For the next couple of days, she did nothing but think about that. She even spied on him, as he was simply relaxing in a field, not doing much. However, there was another problem. Someone had paid her a visit. Yes, someone had paid her a visit for her help. Orochimaru of the Sannin was on the run, as Naruto had wiped away majority of his forces, condemned a lot of his bases. Orochimaru was now in hiding. Only his most trusted knew the location which he now resides, because he could not trust anyone else. He had no idea how the brat was getting the location of his bases, so he stopped, allowing those around him to know where he was located except for those he trusts out of everyone else, and that list was extremely small. The problem was the Sannin was fully aware that, even at his full force, the kid was a problem, because even now he still possesses scars that could not heal that Naruto had given to him. So he needed his arms back. Naruto had came a few days after Orochimaru had paid Tsunade a visit, so the little week that he had set for the date would be after that. Shizune knew about it, as she tried to get Tsunade to tell the others to ask for their help, but Tsunade had not tell her what she was going to do. However, Tsunade made up her mind a long time ago. Orochimaru killed Sensei. As much as she was angered by the village and her loss, The fact that he killed Sensei was enough of a reason for her to put him down once and for all. And with his weakened state, that is exactly what she was going to do. Dealing with this brat, she would do that some other time. Well, after she had dealt with the Sannin once and for all. When the time finally came, Shizune was passed out, right at the door where Naruto was located. Because she was going to tell them what was going to happen the next day. Believing that Tsunade would have come to them by now, but Tsunade knocked her out. Knowing that she would be safe there because it was just a moment of time before they woke up. But by then, she would have that dealt with as she proceeded to make her way. Naruto opened his door as he saw Shizune lean up against the wall. Tsunade had made sure she was comfortable while unconscious. Naruto already had an idea of what was going on. Another reason why he set their bet for a week later. Kabuto had been under Naruto's control for some time now. As Naruto found out that his mind manipulation reached further than he thought, he was able to implant commands into Kabuto's head. That is the only reason why he wasn't dead just yet. Naruto was always aware of where Orochimaru was, but he did not want to kill the Sannin just yet. He had other plans for him. Yes, he had other plans for him. That was the only reason why he was still breathing at the moment. However, Naruto figured that this should be the time, returning with news of the Sannin's death. And also, Tsunade as well. Jiraiya was also outside of his window, looking rather out of it, as Naruto shook his head. Last night Tsunade had drugged him to make sure that he doesn't get involved, as she was going to put an end to Orochimaru once and for all. She didn't want him to be involved as much, as she tried to act like she did not care. She will take on the burden. It was the least she could do. After all, she's done nothing but run away from her problems time after time again. Unfortunately though, they used her greatest weakness against her. There she was on the ground, trembling as the blood was splashed across her face. "Let's go, Kabuto," said Orochimaru, intending on taking her with them. I must say, this was more pathetic than I thought. As Naruto descended upon the area, Shizune and Jiraiya not too far behind, Naruto did not even look at Orochimaru or Kabuto. It was like they did not even exist. "Look at you now, after just droplets of blood." Naruto reached down, but she slapped his hand away as she looked up at him, utter fear in her eyes. As he simply looked at her, as he shook his head before getting back to his feet, Shizune rushed into her side and cleaning the blood off her face. Naruto stood there by her side as he watched Jiraiya engage Orochimaru, both of them at a disadvantage. It was then that Kabuto tried to make a move, but Shizune attacked him. "Look at that. Your apprentice is fighting, something you're currently unable to do because of your stupid illness. How can you have hemophobia? You're a medic, for Christ's sake. Yes, I know. You watch your loved ones died. Your brother, your lover. However, do you have any understanding of how many people has lost loved ones in this world? I myself is not amongst them. I never knew my parents. The only person that I lost that might be considered as someone close was the old man. Out of most people, I respected him. He was a soft leader, but he still had my respect. You, on the other hand, you were a student. He trained you, he was there for you. And now, he's dead. And yet, you've given up so much that doesn't bother you as it should. However, you're letting emotions back you up. Grieve, woman, said Naruto. You will never be able to pass a certain area if you don't do it. I'm sure that if your brother or lover were to see you now, they would look at you with pity and call you pathetic. They would be embarrassed to know that you broke so easily after their demise. And most of all, they would be angry. Not just by you, but by themselves, that they left you alone. However, I'm sure they had the sense to know how dangerous the world was before they became a ninja. So stop blaming yourself like some damn fool. You're no little girl, you're no child. You're a woman that has experienced this world and know the wrongs. You know the death toll, you know the chaos more than most because of your feel. So stop behaving like a damn little girl already and start fighting back, conquering those stupid feelings that keep you down, and show it and yourself that you're something worth fighting for. His words were hitting her very soul. Similar to what Naruto possessed, that he could never be without wealth, he also possessed the power to encourage others with his words, to encourage an army even if they were on the verge of losing. And that had stung Tsunede's very soul. His words like daggers hitting her soul, chipping it and breaking it until it could shine. When she looked up, behind Naruto was Dan and Nawaki, both of their hands on his shoulder, as they were smiling at her. Behind Naruto, Shizune just got her tendons in her legs cut. "It's time that I end you," Kabuto said, as he brought his arm down to take her life. However, Tsunade breezed past Naruto. Kabuto turned when her fist sunk into his face. Several of his teeth shattered, blood flew out of his mouth. His body was launched into yonder and sent sailing away before crashing. Tsunade looked down as Shizune looked up. Lady Tsunade. "It's alright, Shizune," she said, giving her a hand. "Tuh, seems like you're not as pathetic as I thought," said Naruto. Tsunade threw her fist, but Naruto's receptor blocked it, as her fist slammed against the golden plated metal. Gotta be faster than that. As Jiraiya shouted at them, around 100 snakes were coming their way. Naruto raised his hand and 100 gates opened. What followed was pure chaos. Strangely enough, Kabuto recovered rather quickly. Well, that wasn't abnormal because of the pills that he took. The pills that would give him great side effects if taken more than one. However, it was a rush healing pill that pushed his body to the absolute limit to recover. Kabuto quickly summoned Manda by using Orochimaru's arm. Manda came in big and bad, as he wanted 100 sacrifice. However, Orochimaru was using Manda as a distraction. This had turned from bad to worse. "Hey, this isn't a time like the forest when you ran away. This is a time where I end your life," said Naruto. However, Manda, it attacked him, lashing out its tail. Naruto severed the tail with ease. "You giant beast, how dare you bare your fangs at me? I'll rip you apart." Naruto descended upon Manda, and just like his words, Naruto ripped Manda pieces to pieces. Tsunade and the others were unable to stop Orochimaru as he fled during the chaos. Manda cursed Orochimaru's name as Naruto stepped on Manda's lifeless head that he removed. "Filthy snake," said Naruto. "Where did the other one go?" "He ran away during the chaos," Jiraiya said. "A pity. I wanted to end his life. I suppose there is another time." "Woman, have you regained your hope or whatnot? My name is not woman, it's Tsunade. Besides, I did not agree to anything. We still have something to do we not?" "Ah yes, that is correct," said Naruto. Moments later, despite just fighting a rather battle that would have changed everything if it went south, here was the two of them. "I don't know what the hell you were thinking when you made this bet, you damn brat." Shizune realized that Tsunade enjoyed cursing with Naruto, given that she was smiling, but "I'm gonna crush you into a fine dust." You saying that is rather ironic, given your age, said Naruto. It seems like he liked it as well. Alright, Jiraiya said, holding their hand. Begin! He had to take a step back as the force almost sent them sailing. Tsunade was covered in a golden aura. Same for Naruto, as their eyes clashed against one another. Tsunade felt his strength, and it wasn't that great. What was he playing at? She could easily crush him. However, she saw him smirk. You think it will be easy to crush me, don't you? She wondered if he was reading her mind. No, I'm not. But given that smug look on your face, let me show you that you're wrong. Upon saying that, Tsunade saw a giant avatar appear behind him. It was his aura. His aura formed an avatar of himself. How could one be so arrogant for their aura itself to show them, instead of just their raw power? He thinks so highly of himself. That is when she felt it, the full weight of his strength. Tsunade immediately pushed her power to the max. Boom! A sizable explosion went off. It was just their hands, and yet there was a goddamn explosion. When the smoke and dust cleared, Naruto was on the ground. So was Tsunade. What the hell just happened, said Jiraiya. Who won, Shizune asked. I do not know, said Naruto. Yeah, things got a bit cloudy there, said Tsunade. How the hell did that even happen? Jiraiya said in clear confusion. As he looked at the two, he then sighed. I should have expected this. The both of you are too damn stubborn. And it seems it even reflects in your damn abilities and powers. As Jiraiya found himself getting really tired of these stubborn people in his life. What does this mean? Shizune asks. She's coming back with us, of course. And who the hell said I said that? Tsunade glanced behind her as she saw a gate with a chain emerging. Oh, you want to do this, brat? Anytime, any place, said Naruto. You're lucky I'm in a charitable mood. Fine, she said. Wait, Jiraiya said, looking at her. Yes. I'll come back, she said. Besides, knowing that arrogant pricks like this are in the village, I have to come back to make sure that it's safe. Can't just leave it in the hands of these... Well, he is a jackass, she said, looking at Naruto. I'll let you get away with that one, just because you're going to be the Hokage. But don't believe I'll give you a second chance. You're a jackass, plain and simple, she said. Tsunade was zapped in the arm by Naruto Golden Plate. Alright, that's it. Let's go. As she launched herself towards him, both Jiraiya and Shizune standing there. Even though Jiraiya had to say, Naruto don't just mess around with people like that. So it was rather refreshing to see him starting off good with a new Hokage. Unfortunately though, his rather charitable mood and rather good feelings had started something. A far distance away, in a deep rocky terrain, a young boy was making his way. As he was calmly walking, he had a rather large bottle in his arm, filled with water. That is when he heard something grumbling. He looked around confused. That is when the ground opened up. It seemed to just give way as he fell into mud. What the hell? His eyes widened when the mud started to move. As he tried to get it off him, but the thing wrapped around him and started to pull him in. He shouted and screamed, but it swallowed him. A bright light then emerged. The next moment, something stepped out of that hole. It was identical to the boy. It took his form, it took his likeness. Dark hair, matched with dark eyes. Wasn't wearing a shred of clothing. As it looked around, it started to scan the area, its face seeming rather emotionless. Its eyes looking at the sky, but it saw something different. It saw a strange golden pattern as it started to walk. Whatever this was, it was clearly not human, and it was coming. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.